good day. You're welcome yet again to a new day in our series, Effective Communication, A Marital Serenity 2. In the previous day, being the day 5, we started to look at the effect of ineffective communication in marriage. And we should go on today to evaluate some more effects of ineffective communication in marriage. The second problem that ineffective communication or lack of it causes in marriage is that the two people in this marriage begin to feel like strangers. If you do not communicate and keep communication going in marriage, you feel like you're losing each other. And if this continues over a period of time, intimacy in the marriage relationship begins to suffer and the connection weakens. You find it hard to get a common ground on any issue. If your partner cannot communicate with you, it's usually a strange feeling that can pose a huge challenge. Remember, your partner cannot decipher your emotion. You need to communicate it. You may find out that you argue more and more and you spend less time together in a place where there is no communication. The other thing, or the third thing ineffective communication can do to married couples is that it robs them of their connection. It takes away connection from them, and where there is no communication in marriage, problem begins to arise and raises its ugly head between this couple due to the lack of communication in the relationship. You may lose connection, love, passion, and that spark you had for each other when you first met. The fourth thing ineffective communication can do in marriage is that it leads to money problems. Yes, financial problems. Money can be a very touchy subject for most people, and this topic might appear a little awkward to bring up in marriage, especially if you're in the process of trying to merge your finance, or if you're that partner that have acquired huge debt somewhere and have not told your spouse about it. You find it strange to engage in a conversation of finance, but it is always advisable to do it, whether you're sharing a joint bank account or you're keeping a separate account. It is very important to talk about your finance. Couples who don't talk about their finance always tend to overspend, and they feel held back by not being the breadwinner. And in the end, they delve into deeper and deeper depth, even more than when they were single. It is important for couples to discuss budgeting and to keep an open door of discussion about issues of their debt and expenses. This helps them guide against unnecessary spending that depletes their family finance. The fifth thing that ineffective communication causes in marriage is that it makes the people in this marriage feel emotionally distant. The less you communicate with your spouse, the more emotionally distant you would become. Talking is one way to bridge this gap. When there is a lack of communication in the marriage, love also starts to fade as a result of the gap. When couples in marriage grow distant apart, they are less inclined to have sex, to have date night, and to fix any problem that arises in their marriage. The sixth cause of ineffective communication in marriage is that it leads to wrong assumptions. When couples are not open with one another, it becomes very easy for them to start to make assumptions. And we know assumption is very wrong and dangerous. The best thing to do is to find facts and clarify issues. And this fact finding and clarification of issues can only take place with effective communication. If you are not letting your spouse, for example, know that you'll be running late for the day, or that you'll be going off to see a friend from work instead of coming back home, or possibly you could be in a place and refuse to divulge your location to your spouse, this can lead to a lot of wrong assumptions, which is very, very detrimental to your marriage. The seventh effect of ineffective communication in marriage is that your sex life begins to suffer. There are many sexual problems that arises as a result of lack of communication in marriage. For example, a lack of orgasm may result to frustration, bitterness, anger between married partners, and it can cause hostility and disappointment if not communicated. Likewise, a person may want sex but feels incapable of making the first move, and this person does not communicate it. This can be very frustrating for both spouses. Couples need to have an open and a honest conversation about their intimate life, their preference, their experience, their choice of frequency, their fantasies, their needs, their turn on, in order to create an equally satisfactory sexual relationship. Poor communication in sex matters can cause a spouse to be unfaithful in marriage. It can make you feel tempted to cheat. The eighth effect of ineffective communication in marriage is that the couples are unable to make compromise for each other. Remember, you cannot be always right. As much as you might wish otherwise, but you can never be always right. Marriage requires a balance. A great marriage relationship is built on trust, respect, and compromise. When there is no communication in that relationship, couples have no room to compromise. The ninth effect of ineffective communication in marriage is that the marriage can become stagnant. Change and growth there are two things that are constant with human beings, because people must change and people must grow. This fact makes it very important for couples to learn to embrace change and to grow together. When there is lack of communication or the ineffective communication in marriage, then this marriage tend to become stagnant because the couples no longer understand each other. Never stop learning about your partner, and you need to learn to evolve together in order to develop trust, matured relationship that both of you can understand, such that you understand each other's wants and needs clearly. These are the 9 things that I want to outline on the effect of ineffective communication. It boils down for you to evaluate: is lack of communication depleting your marital serenity? It's a question you need to look at. Haven't evaluated the 9 things in this series that are results of ineffective communication. Do you find yourself in any category? What are you choosing to do today? That is the question, and a take home for you to ponder after listening to this series. But we go on to evaluate the benefits of effective communication, because yes, there are benefits to communicating right, and one of these benefits includes that it promotes instruction. When you communicate in a kind and a cautious manner that resonates with the way your partner receives information and chooses to be spoken to, it not only sends the message, but it always allows the heart to receive the information you are offering. Number 2 benefit of effective communication is that it brings healing. Nice words are soothing like a balm to the soul. So effective communication brings healing in marriage. Number 3 benefit of effective communication is that it nourishes this marriage. One good communication radiates peace in the home. It has a way of multiplying everything around the home. The long-term payoff of effective communication is serenity as well as happiness in your marriage. The 4th benefit of effective communication is that communication in marriage is important because it is a vehicle through which all important parts of the marriage are performed. And lastly, but not the least, is that it opens the people in marriage, the husband and wife, it opens them to each other, enabling them to see through each other. When communicating effectively and honestly in your marriage, then you have a great chance at living peacefully, happily, and healthy. So the choice is for you to make today. What really do you want out of your marriage? When you're able to answer that, then you are more able to embrace the idea of effective communication. Until I come your way again tomorrow, I remain your Serenity Coach, Chineye Mobi. Bye.